Hello guys, welcome to 10 Plus. Today I have Barrister OCHOLI back here again to continue a hot conversation we began in a previous episode. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, and turn on your notifications so you can enjoy other episodes as they come. Welcome again, Barrister OCHOLI.
Thank you, sir.
It's good to have you on the hot seat for a hot conversation.
My pleasure.
All right, so the last episode we began a conversation, a discourse about marriage, divorce, and sex in marriage. And we had begun talking about how we live in a very sensual age, and there's a lot of pressure on married people to adapt to a fantasy, about sex and lovemaking. And I had asked you in the last episode what was the role of sex in lovemaking. Now, there's a story I just want to make reference to. It's a biblical story of a man who got married to a woman called Leah. Leah was a sister to Rachel. So the man, Jacob, he was in love with Rachel. But in his negotiation with his father-in-law, somehow, he was giving Leah instead of Rachel. Now, on the first night, as a couple with Leah, while he was sleeping with Leah, he thought he was making love to Rachel. And he was drunk, so he didn't know. So in the morning when he woke up, he realized that he was actually having sex with Leah. So it's a very simple story, but has very deep meaning for me. So he was in bed with Leah, but he was making love to Rachel. So there is a Rachel in the minds of many people that sadly isn't their wives. And blessed art thou if your Rachel happens to be your Leah, if you know what I mean. So if you are in bed with Leah and you have Rachel in your mind, there's a problem. But if you are in bed with Rachel and have Rachel in your mind, or you are in bed with Leah and you have Leah in your mind, then you're blessed. So how do we tackle this conflict where husbands and even wives are with their husbands, but in their minds they are with someone else? Sometimes the men they are with or the women they are with in their minds are their ex. Sometimes it's an image in a movie. It's someone that they fantasize about. How do we marry the Leah and the Rachel crisis?
Awesome. I love your story. These stories are real.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a lot of times, it's not even the person. I agree more with the fantasy. Because what people take from people is actually memory, not what is real. And I once said, and it makes me laugh. Someone sat with me and said, I know my ex is bad, but I can't find somebody as good. I mean, it was so bad you left.
I know my ex is
bad, but I can't find someone as good
as the bad ex.
So, and this was my reaction. So the whole world is now below a bad guy. That means we are dead.
Yeah.
But what happened is, when people have their lucid moments, quiet and calm, they begin to put pictures to what is not even real. So, where do you start from? I'll give the advice two ways. If you haven't been caught in a web, learn to make the person that's yours your fantasy. It makes it easy. Then always block, the impressions that other people want to project to you, because impressions will continually come at you. For the other group of people, where most people are, you already have fantasies too wild to curtail just by wanting to curtail it by wishing. You need to deliberately. What you starve is what dies. What you feed is what grows. People don't even know that the process of meditation is the process of deepening themselves into things they should not be into. So a lot of people are spending too much time on their memory than their destiny or what's ahead of them. So they are and meditation is effort. People don't know that. Meditation is a lot of effort. Why? You are investing into your mind. So for a lot of those people, or couples, I should say, what you need to do is to begin to starve, the thought of the memory or the impressions or images you have. And how do you do that? Very practical. Change activity the moment anything begins to inspire it. That's the first thing you must do. People need to get busy with other things at certain times. The times you stand up from your office is not because your office is not comfortable again. I mean, if there's a project you could work with other people, because you need activity at that moment to shut down that thought. Then 2, you select other things to think about that would be nice. There's certain times you pick a book to read. It's not because it was book reading time. It is, I need to shut down a thought. So I need to allow something else come dominate my mind. The more I start it that way, what happens is this begins to go down. Then the other thing you must do, because a lot of people find themselves here already, is you must begin to invest into your partner in a way that creates memory. I'll give you some example. I always give this example. Last year was our 9th anniversary. I threw a surprise for my wife. Amazingly, in all our journeys, she had never been to Dubai. Dubai, like everybody goes. So she wasn't expecting it because we're doing it a lot through the year.
Yeah, we're going to America. Let's tell them about that part.
No.
We are going to America. We are going to Dubai.
Don't worry. But it was going to mean a lot to her. Because I keep telling people the reason why a lot of marriages fail is that there's not enough memory to sustain it when it gets tough. So I arranged a surprise, we invited family and friends to the house and opened it. You are supposed to be going to the airport now. She was like, Then of course the airline she had not flown before, which I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I love their service. But I got them to celebrate her in the plane and everything, signed all of that. What that was doing? Was creating memory. In fact, part of why I did that, some people asked me, why didn't you wait for 10? I said, wait, when 10 comes to take care of itself. I didn't even know Corona was going to do this year, and I can't, But here's what happened. I always say this jokingly, but it's the truth. When we're in that Dubai, this woman has traveled though. Even if I farted as a mess in local balance, it was romantic to her.
That's right. It was sensitive.
It was a short time, just in total the journey was just about 5 days. It was a short time of such intensity. I mean, whether she like me, whether it's amusement park or Seas Park, everything resets.
That's right.
It was time for us. I mean, children were away from the equation, everything was off. It created such investment into us. So a lot of people are not investing. And part of why that entered my mind, Shane R18 showed me this. Before that time, my wife used to crack a joke that I now took serious. I mean, well, to me, you're asking me real questions, so let me say real things. I believe I have a very great sex life. In fact, that's why I wrote the book, Mutual.
Show us the way.
But
show us the way. I have a great sex life.
Part of what happened? Yeah. Part of what inspired that journey. Sometimes we'll sit down, she say, Aberdeen, she'll mention the year. South Africa, she mentioned the year. US, related to sex. I'm like, okay, it's like the formula that gives her the kind of memory she's talking about is when we are away from all the distractions. So a way has now become part of my own arrangement. So that's what brought me to the place. I say, as surely as the Lord lives, God helping us. One vacation yearly, me and you, minus everybody. What were we doing? You are deepening that process, helping yourself. I realized that those memories stayed and were so strong.
They lubricate, they stay lubricate.
Exactly. So what does it do for me? Focusing on her helps you knock away the temptation at other memories or to even found other memories. Because there's something you are creating here that is worth remembering, worth dwelling on. So I mean, couples need to do that.
I agree with you completely. And you don't have to go to Dubai to make that happen.
Absolutely.
There are things you can do in-house that can create memories. There are many things. It's R18, but we see some things here to become R20. Let's leave it at R18. All right. Yeah. So I have a principle. Now, my principle is this: I don't feel responsible for what I didn't create. So when I was growing up, people used to tease me a lot. My uncles, my friends, my aunts, that I had big ears. My ears look very evil now because my head is bigger. When I was much smaller, my ear was like this much over my head, right?
So that's how you hear good things.
You see, that's how I can hear. Even in the spirit, I hear. All right, so I was teased a lot about my ears when I was growing up. And it took a lot of, inner strength not to grow up with a very damaged esteem. Okay, at some point, I would be teased also about my head. But when I became big, I didn't make any difference anymore. But one of the things that happened to me was that I came to a point in my life that I determined that I will not feel responsible for what I did not create.
And cannot change.
And I cannot change. So I didn't create my ears, I didn't create my head. I will focus on what I can use them for and how I'll be perceived. Today, I walk into spaces and people are just happy to see Apeh. And nobody cares about his ears or his head anymore. So, but many married people are in a crisis where they are becoming responsible and they are feeling completely crushed by something they didn't create. A man is feeling very insufficient because for some reason his penis is not this big. All right, it's not as big as a cucumber. All right. So, and then you have women who are feeling so less of themselves because they either have a small breast, a funny shape of breast, and not C cup or teacup. All right. And because they see these things on TV, and then they're not under pressure. And I think that's very unfair, both to the man who is their husband and to the woman themselves. And they're thinking about themselves as less of themselves because they think that the outcome of their marriage is resident on the size of their breast, their buttocks, or their penis. How do we resolve this crisis? Because these are issues that is hard to talk about in marriage seminars. But when you come down to real counseling rooms, these are the real issues. But some of them can't even bring up these matters in counseling rooms because they just feel like it's too mundane to say that, for some reason, I feel, let me give you an example. There is a man that has gone for, real life story, that went for counseling and was crying because of the state of the breast of the wife that he married. And he said that, in all fairness to him, he didn't see the wife's breast before they got married because he's a believer and they didn't do anything. So it was after marriage that he now saw the breast. He was crying, and these are emotional tears, physical tears, because he felt that something was wrong because the wife's breast was not as rounded as he had hoped it would be from what he saw from the shape of the bra. So how do we resolve this crisis?
Okay, are you ready for R30?
You want R45, we can manage.
Okay. First things first is we must do a lot to help people's thinking. That gentleman was not thinking proper. He wasn't properly educated. That gentleman should have thought about padded bra to start with. Because what you see is not what you get all the time. Yeah. I'm going to give you and come back into the real gist, a very simple story. I once asked my wife, who do you want to look good for, me or outsiders? Because after having 3 babies and she'll come home, when they girdle up, then I have a permission so I can put it the way we said it then. Then you remove the girdle and everything goes for me to see. So everybody saw your shape outside, right? Then me, I'm seeing the
ungirdle.
Yes, when everything is...
the ungirdle shape.
So I told her, do you know what? I think we should take real steps. Exercise, diet, and stuff than this girdle. Nicely, like I talked about conversation in marriage. That was the end of my wife using girdle. Because I told her, what's the aim?
Yeah.
So you want to impress in dressing, but not be impressive in the bedroom.
Yeah.
To what I see.
Yeah.
So we needed to focus on the real stuff. So what people need to first of all know going to marriage is that you are going to have expectations that will be disappointed. Learn to be happy with it.
Yes.
Even if you had slept with that woman. Because the relationship would have ended if he slept with her and broke his vows or his commitment to God. He would have been disappointed. But what have you done? You have taught another person's wife. Because you are going to leave her. Alright? So, yes, have great expectations. Now, your expectations should be organic, not sold to you. Magazines, media, movies have sold us stuff that will destroy marriage. If I keep telling single people, more single people have divorce laws in their head already before they're married. Because they're thinking about what does not work or what's not real. So, this gentleman is making that mistake. Do you have a right to desire something? Yes. Do you have the responsibility to accept what you can't change, like you said? Absolutely. Your spouse is not going to be the same everything with everybody. And here's the deal. You must learn to maximize what you've got. All right, women a lot of times don't even know this. You know, there's a lot of confusion out there. Some people are complaining their husband's akpola is too big. Some people are
akpola?
It's penis. Some people are complaining that it's too small. But from my research,
oh my God,
the penis is not the most important sex organ of the man to the woman.
Yeah, true.
A woman has 3 to 1 sex nerve endings on her body to a man compared to a man. So that stick is the least problem.
Yes.
That's why a woman can attain orgasm without the involvement of the penis.
Yes.
So a lot of times people are not thinking about these things.
Yes.
That's the question you must ask. And if I went ahead of myself, proper love making is when you intend to please the order, not to go and collect pleasure.
Yes, you hit it for me.
And your pleasure comes out of pleasuring them.
Yes.
So a lot of times you just see people just, you know, just come demanding.
Yes.
So if a man understands this, and a woman also understands, you know, if I focus on this guy, honest truth, I keep saying this, why I will never under any guy support cheating and all of that, is sometimes also couples make it so easy for both of them to come under unnecessary pressure.
Yeah.
Because they're not doing what they should do.
Yeah.
I mean, can you just listen? In fact, this is how I put it. Every partner must be a student of the other partner's body.
I agree.
What is working on this body? What did I strike that hit the right chord?
Yes.
What can I improve on? How can I get this? See, if I want to enjoy great sex, just go ahead to give. Because the moment I give you what you desire,
yes,
you are going to become a wild ox. I mean, you're just going to be set on fire like, bam!
And I think that's, sorry to cut you, sir.
Yes, please.
I think that's really the difference between sex and love making.
Absolutely.
When you have sex, you take. When you make love, you give.
You give.
And then you receive from the giving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
See, harvest and due season of harvest always comes. See, what people demand in sex, they'll get cheaply they give. Because your partner will just be unleashed. Because the aim here is, see, sex is not something in the textbook, okay, then do like this, then do like that. No. Sex comes to the point where the parties are not doing it anymore, the thing is doing them. That's when you have attained.
Yes.
Because what you have done is you have invited the person into the Holy of Holies.
Yes.
You know, I told somebody, I'm 35. Or I told someone, for example, using male to female now. Of course, all the lubricant help is good. I'm like, you need to be a miner. You need to mine.
Yeah.
You need to be a driller. You know, when you're drilling for borehole, you know, you patiently until you hit the rocks. If you are single and you are watching the show, God bless you. You patience. But what do people do?
Yes.
Before you know it, you just want to go. And the truth is, in fact, let me say this, from research, experts agree that ejaculation is not orgasm.
Yes. I will get back to you now because don't ever have 70. All right, guys. I mean, we have to take a break now, and when we come back, we're going to begin talking about orgasm. Okay, what are these? Yes, there's nothing in my ear. So don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, and turn on your notification. We'll be right back with Barr Ocholi talking about orgasm.